Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary, our Sunday service for the fourth Sunday in June. We have a wonderful, very interactive service planned for today with our Congregant John Malcolmson, who I'll introduce for you in a few minutes. But let's ring the bell and get officially started and do our opening offerings. Okay, you ready? And we will begin with our inviting our ancestors and our honoring our first people. Chris Rapshevis is going to help us with that.
Good morning, and thank you, Sally Jo. I'm so glad to be here with my friend John Malcolmson today. My name is Chris Rapsevich, and I'm glad to come before you to honor our ancestors and help us remember those who've come before us, those who've brought us here today. So I'd like to ask if we could just close our eyes briefly, think of all the different reasons that we came to this building today, all the different folks who may echo through our lives, whether they be blood-related or close friends over a long time, or folks we've learned from in different texts. I believe all of these are our ancestors. Let's remember them now, welcome them to our space, and we say thank you to them. At this time, and in being a teacher, among other teachers, I also like to think of our descendants, and whether they again be related to us by blood, or maybe students, maybe other younger folks that, or folks of our same age who may find that we gathered here, maybe they're somewhat ancestors. That may mean different things to different peoples, and I hope that if we can gather those folks who may come after us in our hearts, wish them peace, and we thank them for also assembling here with us. I'm also proud to acknowledge that this land is ceded to us by native peoples. There were many, many tribes over the millennia that have crossed this land, be they Muckleshoot, other Coast Salish confederated groups. I always like to acknowledge that the Duwamish people were some of the first inhabitants of this land, and that's acknowledged, be it our river, be it other place names, names that we've taken from their language, Lusutchid. I hope I'm saying that right. It's, there's words that my tongue doesn't always want to get around, but I continue to try and make effort to that. And I'd like to acknowledge their sacrifices and their continued dedication to this land in a way that, well, first, in remembering the Duwamish people, somehow in acknowledging them, the U.S. government has not acknowledged them as an official tribe. So I hope that someday I may defer that the current administration may not do that, but I hope that someday they are acknowledged, they do get their just respect and acknowledgement. There's a nice website called realrentduwamish.org that I would recommend. We give a nice offering to them every month, and there are area communities and buildings such as the Longhouse that sits right near Harbor Island on East Marginal Way that I'd highly recommend that people go and experience. But one of our community members is named Sesinkwale Lower Boucher, and I'd like for us to attempt a prayer that she's taught us, placing our hand over our hearts and trying to gather all that has brought us and all that we experience as humans, bringing all of that into our hand, and then we're going to offer that up to the Creator. Hopefully the Creator will acknowledge that and maybe place a gift in our hand, and as we raise our hand up, we will say the sacred word, "Oh." So again, thinking and trying to centralize all those experiences in our hand. Deep breath together. And raising up. Aho! Blessed be. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. For our divine feminine offering this morning, Isla's going to do a chant with us this morning and for us and explain a little bit about the language that the chant is coming from and how that interacts with the chant itself.
So you may have noticed I'm not singing in the English, and so we listen differently. We listen with our heart to the ancient language of Sanskrit, because whereas English describes things, Sanskrit actually, the syllables contain their energy packages. They contain the energy of what we're chanting to. We're chanting to the Divine Mother. So there's a picture of the Divine Mother, there's a sound of the Divine Mother, and you can connect to her through your heart. So you don't need to think about what they mean, but the words do mean Om and victory, salutations and victory to the Great Mother of the Universe. And this particular chant removes fear. And it's Ambe Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe. Ambe Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe. Just sing from your heart. Ambe Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe 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 Ambe Bhavani Jaya Jagadambe.
Thank you so much, Isla. That was beautiful. At this point, I'm going to introduce our guest, John Malcolmson. Not our guest, sorry, our congregant. He's shaking his head. No. John and his wife Heidi have been members of our community for longer than I can remember, so you probably go back before me more than 20 years. And they've been valuable and precious members of our community. And John has shared with us many times in the past, but I thought it was time to have him back because he's been very busy with his career. And you will find that out if you look at the inside of your program. John is an interfaith chaplain. He draws from both Eastern and Western spiritual backgrounds, and he recognized the sacred in ways that are informed by his spiritual practices of both Christianity and Buddhism, as well as time spent living and traveling in Asia and supporting Seattle's Asian American immigrant community for over a decade. He has a lot of credentials that you'll see, and currently he's working as a spiritual health clinician with the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. And he's also worked at Harborview recently. And he really appreciates this direct contact work that he has serving patients, their families, their caregivers from a wide variety of backgrounds and identities. And you can read more details here, and you'll hear from him. And what's beautiful, John, I'm going to turn the rest of the service over to John for now, because he has a wonderful variety of meditations, practices, conversations, talking, explaining things. It's all his, and I know he's got music woven in, and so I'm going to let him figure out the order of his presentation as we go through this wonderful exploration of your spiritual journey and how it relates to our theme this month, which is the theme of refuge, taking refuge. I've been dealing. I'm always working ahead in my months, and so I get confused which month we're in. But it's taking refuge, and John's topic is finding refuge in challenging times. I guess that would be now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally Jo, and thank you, Isla. I'm going to sit here with my pillow because I have healing from a toe infection. So that's what's going on, if you're wondering. Yeah, I'm really grateful to share with you today. Yeah, I've been coming to ICS for quite a while. I think it was like mid-2000s or something. Started coming. And yeah, Heidi and I have gotten a lot of nurture from this wonderful space and community. So really grateful to be here with you. I wanted to share a little something before we have some more chanting from our dear Isla. I am a minister in the Order of Inner Being, which is the Zen Buddhist tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about taking refuge in today is our breath, and also our connection with the earth and with nature. So I wanted to do a little bit of a grounding meditation here at the beginning, and then Isla will offer the chant, and then I will talk a little bit more, and we'll do some things together. Including we're going to be actually going outside and doing a little meditation outside. Looks like the weather is cooperating. So our breath is something that is always there for us, something that we're doing all the time. And sometimes we're not aware of our breath. Sometimes we might actually be breathing very shallowly or very quickly and not be aware of it. So putting our attention on our breath is a way to connect with the sacred breath that we have and also our body. So I invite you to sit in a way that's comfortable for you. If you want, you could put your feet down on the floor. Could bring your attention and alertness into your body. You might want to bring your shoulders up towards your ears and kind of release some of that tension in the shoulders. You could try that again with a breath in to bring your shoulders up and a breath out. Nice exhale to let them down. You can have your eyes open or closed. I'm going to ask you to visualize some things, so it might be easier to have your eyes closed. So this is a kind of grounding meditation. So again, starting with our breath. You can breathe in through your nose or your mouth as you are able. In the air into your chest, maybe down into your belly, and then follow that air back out. your nose or mouth. And again, pay attention to that air coming in and then coming out of your body. As Chris so eloquently shared, we are on sacred land here. And we are sitting on Mother Earth. So if you like, you might imagine that your feet are connecting down through the floor and down through the floor below us, down to the earth. One way to do that is to imagine your legs like tree trunks with roots going down from your feet down through the floor. You can feel that connection that's there, that energetic connection that's there with the earth, because you have a little bit of pressure on your feet as you're sitting there. And you have a little bit of pressure on your bottom as you're sitting in the chair. That little bit of pressure is connecting you with the earth. And if you imagine those roots going down from your feet through the floor, down into the fellowship room down below, down and through that floor, down to the earth. And just as we always have the breath, we also have the earth is always there. And we are connected with the earth through that little bit of pressure that we can feel in our bodies. And through those roots. Just imagine those roots going down through the building, spreading into the earth, connecting with our Mother Earth, who receives you with love and care. And as you're experiencing this, take this time to put this experience into your body, into your heart. This sensation of connection, of nurture, of feeling grounded in the earth like a tree. Feel that in your body. Put that into your heart, into your mind, so you can remember it when you might need it another time. All it takes is one concentrated breath to take you back to that feeling. You could hold on to some of that energy as we go through the rest of our morning. But for now, I invite you to remember that you're sitting here in this room, in this sanctuary, with these other wonderful people. And you can open your eyes whenever you're like. I'll invite Isla to share with us.
Urvaru
That's not required. We love you, however long you want to talk to us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So I decided to call this talk Finding Refuge in Challenging Times. And I guess I first better check. Does anybody think we are living in challenging times? Put your hand up. Just about everybody except for Isla's too. Oh, and okay. All right, everybody's in then. Yeah. 2 hands. Yeah. Okay. So we're all on the same page. The quote I put on the cover here is from Dr. Maricela Gomez, from a book she did with 3 other teachers in our Thich Nhat Hanh tradition. When I breathe, feel my body and all of me. When I feel pleasure, I feel joy and present. I feel connected again to the earth. That's when I feel safe. And then I am home. So I might have also called this program Finding Our Way Home. The home in the Thich Nhat Hanh tradition is an idea of we can come home to the present moment, to being in our bodies where they are right now. There's no other place that we have to get on a bus or a train to go to. We can come to it right here. And in that sense, we can find refuge anywhere we are. We don't have to buy a ticket. That refuge can be a place of peace or safety, but it can also be a resource to support us. When I looked it up in the dictionary, refuge, a couple definitions were shelter or protection, and then a wonderful definition, something to which one has recourse to in difficulty. And I really appreciate that. I wouldn't try in this small time we have together to try to help you work on all the feelings you might have about all the challenging times we're going through and resolve them all and come to this beautiful, peaceful existence. That isn't what we're going to do. Darn, okay, sorry. But what I do want to offer are some very specific tools to help you find some refuge from the everyday that we experience right now, especially if you listen to the radio or the TV and you encounter the news. That's hard. And we somehow need to be able to hold on to who we are truly inside. We are sacred, loving beings. As Jamal did so beautifully last Sunday, he talked about the sanctuary of Interfaith Community Sanctuary and how we can create sanctuary together as a community. And that's absolutely important. And also today we'll be talking more about individually. How can you create that same feeling? And then, as Jamal shared last Sunday, from there, then we can come out and give out light and love out into the world, and we can do the good works that we want to do in the world. But we want to come from that kind of solid, grounded place and not try to overextend ourselves or respond from a place of overwhelm. So I actually have some little pieces of paper and pens, and I think Sally Jo is going to help me, and maybe they're up front there, and maybe another person could help Sally Jo to pass out some little pieces of paper and some pens. I think 2 pieces of paper to each person. So, yeah, 2 pieces of paper. So while that's going on, you can start thinking about refuge and what that means for you. Because actually, I would say each of us have a different idea of what a refuge might be for us. And we come from different spiritual traditions that have their own ideas of refuge. And though a lot of the language I use today might be about how you personally can be a refuge for yourself, if it's more helpful for you, you can also think of that as how can you take refuge in the tradition you're already part of. So be it another way of thinking about refuge is resting in God. How can you rest in your image of the sacred? And I would venture that that image of the sacred that you might have is not necessarily completely separate from you. That's within you. That's how you connect. So I want to talk about 2 kinds of refuge. The first one, on the first piece of paper, which you might flip over the paper and write on the back a letter A. Write a big letter A on there. And then on the regular, the other side of the card, think about something that is a refuge for you. That could be a sensation, like a feeling, a physical sensation, an object, an action, a sound, a song. This is something that you can call to yourself immediately. It might be something that you keep in your heart, or you keep on your desk or in your car, something that's a refuge for you like that. An action, a sound, a song, could be a person or a deity, a saint. It could also be a memory that brings you back to the present moment, that gives you some comfort. Or it could be a quote or a book, any of those things. So just take a moment to think about that and write something down. Great. And now, when you're ready, looks like people are still writing, which is great. That's good. Cool. And when you're ready, take the other piece of paper, flip that over, and write a letter B on it. Okay, and then on the writing side of that card, I want you to think of a safe, nurturing place that is a physical place that you could go to or that you go to on a regular basis, or a place you have been. And this place needs to bring your whole body and all your senses to that place. It has a certain sight that you see when you're in that place. So what do you see? Think about that. Think about that in this place you would smell. There would be a certain smell. There would be a certain touch or sensation, physical sensation, a feeling, possibly an energy, or even a temperature. So you don't have to write down all those parts of it, but just think about that kind of place. I don't want to suggest too much, but for some people that might be your bedroom, or it might be someplace in your home, or someplace in your garden or your yard. It might be a place that you go to when you need refuge. Okay, great. So this idea of a place in your mind that you can go, that you remember, that you have solid within your memory and your mind, is from a practice that I studied called trauma resilience, and the idea is that when we go through challenging times, or when we've been through a particular incident, our energy and our emotions kind of go up and down and up and down. And ideally, like a wave, we want to reach like a middle space. And when we can reach that middle space, then we can notice what's going on around us, and we can respond to people around us, and we can take care of our bodies and get something to eat or drink and all those good things. But when we're way up high or way down low, we can have trouble doing those things, right? We just get kind of caught up. So this place that you're putting down on that paper is that kind of place where you go in your mind where you can be safe, you can be protected. So let me see. Could I have a volunteer, or maybe two volunteers, to take one of the offering? We have two offering. Yeah, one of the offering. We have two. Great. Why don't we give one to Heidi and Steve? Yeah, great. And I want you to take your B card and put it face down in the bowl. Okay. Great. And then mix them together. Put them together. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And then, thank you. And then, let's see. And then I want to see if there's any volunteer that has a really good imagination. Would anybody like to volunteer as a good imagination? You have a good imagination? You want to try? See? Okay. Okay, grab a chair there and bring it maybe over here. Okay. Facing you? Yeah, facing me. Okay. And I'm going to mix up these things here. Okay. Go ahead and pick paper from there. It's going to be charades? No. That would be something. I hadn't thought of that. I had to have checked. I had to have checked with you before I put together the program. Charades. I love it. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I'll actually invite this bell, and then we're gonna do a little exercise, and I'm gonna ask you to use your imagination to share about that place, whatever that is on that card. Okay, so you can start just kind of putting yourself in that mindset. You could look at it if you like. So one of the things I included with your program today was a little sheet here with some gathas or songs for refuge from Thich Nhat Hanh. And one of them is the first one on hearing a bell. So we have a lot of traditions about the bell in the Thich Nhat Hanh practice, Vietnamese Zen Buddhist practice. And I'll just mention a couple of them, and then we'll get to this gatha, or this little poem. So the bell in our tradition is something you invite to sound. And we actually wake the bell. So we don't say that we ring the bell, we invite it. And this is we call the inviter. It's not a bell striker, it's an inviter. We're inviting. So part of inviting the bell is to do a light touch to it, like this. And that's just waking up the bell. And then we can invite it. And then what I'll ask you to do is breathe 3 times, 3 gentle breaths after I invite the bell. So when you were going through your day, another very small refuge you could have is if you hear a bell, or you hear your phone, or your text sound come through, or you hear another sound out in wherever you are, a car honking, whatever it might be, you can use that as a kind of bell also. And you can choose in that moment to take 3 gentle breaths. And that will be a little bit of a refuge for you. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote this to encourage that. It said, "Listen, listen, this wonderful sound brings me back to my true home." Listen, listen, this wonderful sound brings me back to my true home. I recently heard a talk where he said, we could even say, we listen, because it's like all our cells in our body listen, not just our ears. Everything in our body listens. I'll invite the bell again, so you can try that, and maybe say that to yourself. Okay. Steve. No, that's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to take whatever that place is, and I want you to take us there, in a sense, by letting us know all these different aspects of it. And I will ask you for each one, okay? All right. And you can have your eyes open or closed, however it helps you to get into that spot. So tell us some of what you see when you're in that refuge, that place. Oh, sorry, he needs a microphone.
I see an enveloping softness all around me, and like I'm floating. And it's quiet. Yes.
What do you actually see?
Darkness. And my eyelids.
Okay. So in that particular refuge, it's more you have your eyes closed.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. We have some very creative refuge folks. Okay. And then what do you feel? What do you touch, or what sensation do you have in that space?
I feel like I'm letting go, and I'm drifting. Thoughts may come, thoughts may go, thoughts slow down, and I descend.
Okay. And I think you said also floating.
Yes.
Is that right? And then what is the energy of that situation? Is that, what emotion does that bring up for you?
It's about relaxing and letting go, just being, and letting what is going to happen without me having to do anything.
Mm-hmm. And what is the temperature in that space?
Body temperature.
Okay. And then is there anything else, any other details about that refuge that you want to share?
I like going there every day.
Mm.
And when it's over, I like being there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that refuge is something you could call to your mind anytime during the day if you needed to?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, give a hand to Steve. Absolutely. Good job. So I encourage you, maybe on your program, you might want to write that place. That now that you've heard an example of it, that place, it might be the same place you put on the card, or it might be another place. Now that you've thought about it, you're thinking, what is that place that I could call to mind anytime I needed it? No matter kind of what was going on in my life, if I knew I needed to take care of myself, I needed a break, I could go back in my mind to that place. And you can bring all those different sensations, what you see, maybe even what you hear, I guess when I heard Steve talking, I thought maybe I heard like a bubbling sound or something in the background. What you feel, what the temperature is, what the light is like, all those things. So maybe write that on the back of the program or somewhere on your program so you can take that home with you today and remind yourself of what you came up with. Okay. Now we're going to do a somewhat similar activity outside. We're going to do a little meditation out in our garden, which our wonderful volunteers have worked very hard on. And we're going to go out into the parking lot here. And I'll just give the direction now how to set up for this. We'll go out. We'll go down into the parking lot, and then you'll pick a spot along the outside of the parking lot and this side of the building where you can, where you'll be finding a piece of nature to look at. And we'll be doing a meditation. I'll be leading a meditation for you, a guided meditation, while you're out there looking at a specific thing in nature that you will find. And in order to keep some of that nice, grounded, meditative energy, we will go outside in silence. And I encourage you to do one of two things for that walk to go outside. Walking is another part of the Thich Nhat Hanh tradition you might be familiar with. Big, important practice. Because it's also something we can pick up and do wherever we are, just like breathing. And these actions of calling attention to our breath and feeling a connection with the earth, walking, they all call us into mindfulness, and they all require some concentration. And they all can give us some insight as well. So it's something to appreciate about these simple acts. So we're going to walk in silence out and get set up out there. And what I'd like you to do is either, one, if you feel comfortable, hold the hand of someone else that's here and walk out together. Or what you could do is decide to just put out your hand and hold the hand of somebody like we spoke of earlier in the service, an ancestor that you would like to go on a walk with. Or a descendant, as Chris mentioned as well. Or somebody who is on your heart right now who you wish was walking with you. Bring that kind of loving energy to this walk, silent walk outside to the parking lot. Do you have any questions before we do that? Yes? You don't have to bring the paper or anything with you. Whatever you need to be comfortable. If you need to put on a coat or a hat or whatever, please go ahead and do that. But I'm going to put on a hat. But yeah, whatever you need to be comfortable. So go ahead and, as I said, just silently try not to check your phone, try not to do any of those things, and just either hold the hand of another person here or hold the hand of a loved one and walk out silently to the parking lot. Find a spot along the outside of the parking lot here, either along this wall or along the facing out to the street. In the parking lot. Not on the pavement. In the parking lot. On the edges of the parking lot. Oh, thank you. So once you get there to that spot, then you can stop holding hands, or you can keep holding the hands of your ancestors if you want. I'm not going to hold you back from that. But we'll be doing it individually, the meditation, when we get out there.